What is up, everybody? It's been a hot minute. Videos are going to start rolling out again. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. I don't know what I want to call this, if it's a PSA to people with kids or a learn from my experience, or I don't know what to call this. But basically, I want to talk about some potential slight childhood trauma, I guess you could call it, from growing up. And I think that it could have been avoided if a couple things were to have happened. Now, this is coming back to me now as an adult because of all of the craziness going on in Ukraine and Russia and the implications that has on the rest of the world. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about any of that because I don't know enough. I'm not a professional. I don't follow politics or anything along those lines. I've been following what's been going on a little bit, but I'm not educated enough to really give an opinion on anything. So I'm going to leave that for the people who are. But what I am going to talk about is what happened to me when I was younger. Okay, so I was in second grade when 9/11 happened. I remember the day very, very well. Like it's just burnt into my head. I was in Mrs. Flanagan's second grade class at Woods Cross Elementary. We had we were in like one of those portable classrooms. So it wasn't actually inside the school. It was out like in kind of like the playground area. And I don't remember how many students there were. There was like 20 or 30. And I remember the teacher, she started kind of like tearing up and crying. She had like a phone call from the office or something like that, and she started like tearing up and crying. And then she wheeled out like the TV. If you guys were in the 90s, early 2000s, the TVs used to be on these like big like contraption things that you wheeled in. And she turned on the news, and we saw what was going on. And as second graders, you don't really comprehend the impact, right? You don't really understand what you're seeing, especially with something like that. And for the next couple days, right, everyone was talking about this. America was more united than it's been in a long time, and everyone's talking about war and the Middle East and all this type of stuff. Well, one thing that kind of gets forgotten is kids. Not saying that we get neglected, but we are hearing these things too. Now, in today's tech world, right, everything's different. Like you can follow one person who can explain everything about the war, and I'm sure a lot of kids probably have looked into it because it's a little scary. But I didn't have that. We didn't have those luxuries, you know. All we heard was word of mouth and what was on TV. And this isn't, I don't think my parents did anything wrong. I don't think my teachers or my community did anything wrong. I think it was just such a crazy thing that was going on that they sort of forgot to talk to us kids. And I'll be honest with you, I wish they would have. Because what transpired after 9/11, and for at least personally for me, for at least a couple of years, is I thought any moment we could like get killed by people who didn't like Americans because of what happened with 9/11. Now I live in Utah, and where I live we have the big Wasatch Mountains. And this sounds super silly to talk about, right? But you got to remember I had a second grader's mentality. Like I didn't understand the scope of this world. I didn't understand where the Middle East was. I didn't understand what even the implications of and the impact of what happened on 9/11 at that point in my life. I legitimately thought that people could like climb over the Wasatch Mountain and come into our cities and start killing us. It sounds super silly, right? Like you're thinking, "Oh, well, that's dumb. You were just a dumb second grader." No, there was more kids who also thought that. Because we didn't understand what war was. We didn't understand where things were taking place. Like I knew where like New York City was on a map, but I don't really like I couldn't even like grasp the concept of how far away that was. I didn't know any of these things. I thought like at any moment we could just be attacked. I thought people could show up with machine guns and shoot us. And it wasn't until I got into like maybe fourth or fifth grade when I started comprehending a little bit more of what happened, what was going on. I legit used to not want to like leave my house. And if I did, I would lay down in the back seat of the car and just like hope we would be okay. And as a second, like, it was partially my fault too. I didn't tell anybody this. I like thought everyone just kind of was in agreement that this was like crazy stuff that was going on. So like part of it was me just afraid to talk about it too, I guess. Not afraid of like what anyone would say, but I just didn't even know what to say. I thought we were all just being scared. So kind of where I'm going with this story is, don't forget to talk to your kids about what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, because if their imagination is as crazy as mine was as a kid, they might be really struggling to understand or might be scared of what's going on. Now, obviously, you don't have to sit there and explain the intricacies of why this war's going on and what it means, but like, I would at least tell them, hey, like, people aren't gonna walk into your house and shoot you from the mountains, or if you can handle it however you want to handle it, right? But it is something that I think gets forgotten, that kids do have crazy imaginations, and it's, we don't always understand the bigger picture, the bigger scope of things. So it's definitely worth having that conversation. Plus, like, I'm sure I'm not a parent, right? But I imagine it could be a good learning opportunity or a good teaching opportunity, kind of about the bigger world. Show maps, show where these places are, show them the distance from where we're at. And if you want to be brutally honest, you could tell them that there is bigger implications if things were to get out of hand, and that maybe it is something to think about. But obviously you don't want to scare your kid, right? But if they don't understand what's going on, but they hear this hot topic over and over again, World War III, Ukraine and Russia, nuclear missiles, like, they hear these headlines, right? And they might be coming up with what it means in their own head without really understanding what it is. So those conversations, I think, are super important to have. Or maybe they're just like on TikTok and they don't really give a shit. But I know for me, I wish that I would have either spoken up or someone would have spoken to me a little bit better about really what it was, so I wasn't scared for a couple years of my life to go and do stuff. It didn't like petrify me. Like, I would still go do, like, I still played like baseball as a kid, and I still went and hung out with friends and different things like that. But like, there would be moments in my day where I was like scared to like go anywhere that seemed like foreign in my area, like somewhere I didn't know. Like, loud bangs kind of scared me for a little while as a kid. I assume that it's all resolved now. Like, nothing really worries me in that regard now. But when you're younger and you don't get it, it's kind of scary. But yeah, I don't know what to call this video. I just wanted to do it because I have a couple tier lists left for Tuesdays, and I didn't want to drop one today. I kind of have a plan for the other couple ones. But I wanted to get out a video, and I thought this was an interesting topic, kind of get in the brain of younger me a little bit. And I just want to make more videos. I've been missing it. And I think my schedule is going to get busier outside of YouTube, but I'm hoping that I'll stop being it's been my fault why I haven't been making videos, is instead of working hard when my days off show up, I've been playing video games and relaxing, and I haven't been producing the content that I want to produce. So I'm going to be better about that. I'm hoping to get everything back on track this week and next week, but I'm going to throw this one up today. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I was just one unique experience as a kid. I just remember there was other kids on the playground who talked about similar thoughts. And, that word of mouth on the playground spreads quickly. One kid can say, oh no, like, they could come down and hurt us. And then that spreads to everyone on the kids' playground. And then next thing you know, everyone has this thought that people are going to show up from the mountains and hurt us. Sounds dumb. Even saying it now as a 27-year-old, I'm like, man, I was a dumbass kid. But they could really impact someone. They really could. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.